Hey everyone, we're here for another quick conversation for the long haul of leadership with Tod Bolsinger. Today we're talking about a quote from Seth Clark. This is from episode 268 titled Borderless Faith. And here's the quote. Seth Clark, who leads something called the Border Church, which is a small group of people that meet at the San Diego-Tijuana border with people on both sides of the border. Here's what he said. He said, somehow there is this thing happening at the border that I get to participate in that is making a difference and reminding people of God's love and hopefully drawing them into God's love in a new way. One more time. Somehow there is this thing happening at the border that I get to participate in that is making a difference and reminding people of God's love and hopefully drawing them into God's love in a new way. Now, Tod, you and I wouldn't necessarily call ourselves experts in border ministry, but for you, what do you learn about leading change from border ministry?
Well, this is an admirable ministry, and I just there's a part of me that just wants to say, go listen to the episode again, and whatever they teach you, learn. Because I think it's really powerful.
Yeah.
I would say there's one piece that we could take into the work we do. As a person who doesn't do border ministry, but who knows that my gut instinct is to always want my ministry to be safe, to be comfortable. Yeah. Like our brains are wired for wanting familiarity, comfort, safety. When you stretch yourself into a place that's uncomfortable, like being in a worship service with people on two sides of a border that is deeply conflicted right now, that place of discomfort opens up something to you, the possibility. And I think about this a lot because early on in my ministry, I got to know a guy named Dave Gibbons who runs Mosaic Church. He's Korean American. He's had this very creative ministry. And he wrote once, "The future is here. It's just on the margins." The future is here. It's just on the margins. And it reminds me every time I let myself get uncomfortable and move towards something that is different than my comfort zone, I'm probably leaning a little bit into the future that I need to adapt and be ready to take on. And that's good training for me.
Yeah. Leaning into the uncomfortable thing. Well, say more about that. How do we get to a place where we can, where we can do that? Developing the strength maybe to do that, the capacity to do that.
Yeah. Well, one way is to just go in as a learner, just get curious. I mean, most of us tend to be suspicious of anything that's not familiar. Like we just think it's wrong, or we naturally feel like it's uncomfortable, and so we don't like it. So instead, ask questions about it. So to go and literally ask yourself, what is it I could learn in this situation?
Yeah.
What can I learn in this situation? What do I wonder about? The two questions I often teach people in coaching is ask yourself the question, what do I wonder about? And what do I worry about?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder about this. I worry about this. Like, so Marcus, you know that for the last year, I've been living in New York City. I'm in the Upper West Side, New York. It's very, very diverse. And New York is a really interesting place, and people find it really scary. And I have found that if you actually just are curious, people will tell you a lot about their lives. I mean, the guy who cuts my hair is 20 years old, and he's from Uzbekistan. Wow. Uzbekistan. I've never met anybody from Uzbekistan, but in about over 5 haircuts, he's taught me a lot. I've heard
that's
a lot
great.
about his life and his background. Like, he speaks 6 languages.
Wow.
You grew up in Uzbekistan and you cut hair, and he's 20 and he's been cutting hair since he was 13. So just like recognizing that it feels uncomfortable that we started with 2 different cultures, but something in common, which is I needed a haircut and he cuts hair, allowed me to sit there in his chair and learn from him things that I never would have learned about what it's like to be a refugee. I mean, he really was a refugee. He came here because he'd been in Ukraine, and he came here to start a life, and that his whole life experience has been so different than mine. So getting yourself in a place that takes you to an uncomfortable place will sometimes open up more possibilities than you could often imagine, because it opens up new brain cells, new pathways, new perceptions.
Yeah. with that in mind, I'd love to explore one more little thing real quick. So in terms of border ministry, one of the things that I recall, one of the things that we talked about on that episode was sort of the external forces that are making it harder right now, right? Government policy and all those kinds of things. And Seth having to engage in uncomfortable ways those powers, meaning people like Border Patrol, and how do we navigate this now? And today we can't meet. So that involves for him kind of a leaning into something that was uncomfortable for him before, because those resistances weren't there 5-10 years ago. Just any closing thoughts on leaning into uncomfortable, the discomfort of resistance?
Well, if you put it this way, which is whenever you get resistance, try to ask the question, what is this person trying to protect?
Mm-hmm.
What are they resisting for?
Yeah.
And learning to, I have a little book called Leading Through Resistance, where we talk about don't push back against pushback. People push back against you, don't get into a pushing match. Yeah. Instead, learn to pull them by coming alongside them, throwing your arm around them, and walking a few steps with them. Yeah. And let's see where that takes us.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. And there's much more to explore, and listen to many other episodes of this podcast to learn more about that. Yeah. But we'll bring it to a conclusion here. This is great. So again, the quote from Seth Clark, he said, "Somehow there is this thing happening at the border that I get to participate in." And I love that language of "I get to participate in," because all of us get to participate in the work that we're doing in our contexts, right? And he says, this work that I get to participate in, that is making a difference and reminding people of God's love, and hopefully drawing them into God's love in a new way.